guys, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you the 9 books I read in the month of August. The month of August went by like that, and I'm wondering where the hell this year is going. It is going by so freaking quickly. We're already in 3 weeks of school. What? I read 2 library books, and then the rest are books that I own. And yeah, so I'm going to talk about those first. The first one that I read, the first library book that I read this month was Broke Millennial, A Guide to Investing. This is a companion to, this is book 2 in a series, which I did not know until I started reading this book. And my shirt looks like I'm having no neck. Realized that this was the second in a series until I started reading it. The first book is something about getting out of debt, which I may need to pick up. Me and my husband are in debt. We own our house and we're paying it off now, so along with credit card bills. But Broke Millennial talks about investing strategies, and you don't need to have money. You don't need a bunch of money. You don't need to be rich to start investing. Talks about different investment trades, and if you want to do them by yourself, if you want a financial advisor. It goes into detail. She did interview several investment bankers and CEOs. Acorn, Stash, Robinhood. She goes into detail about those. She talks about her investment strategy and how she is in a challenge with her dad to become a millionaire before he does. She wove her personal story in with all of the facts, and I really enjoyed it. It was a good read. I will be having to buy my own copy though, because there are like little exercises and like to-do lists and stuff to fill out to help you along your investment journey. So if you want to get into investing or you don't know where to start, I highly recommend Broke Millennial. The second library book that I read in the month of August was The Unseen World by Liz Moore. My August TBR video, I asked you guys to send me some recommendations as you choose my TBR, and I think this was recommended by Alex. I don't remember. I'm gonna have to check. And I got a lot of recommendations, and I'm still reading them for this month's TBR also. So you'll probably see some of those in my wrap up if I get to them. But I read this one and I didn't really enjoy it. I am not a big fan of literary fiction, and this was about this girl named Ada. She's labeled a prodigy to her dad, David. She is, in my opinion, she's unsocialized. She's socially neglected. She is socially awkward. She is 12 years old, 13, 14 years old. And, excuse my cats. They're having a moment. She's never been to school. She's homeschooled by her single father, and her dad is this well-known scientist. This takes place in the 70s, 80s, and they're just releasing the computer and something like Google, but it's called Elixir. This book is also told in different timelines. It talks about her childhood, and then it jumps into modern day 2009 when she's in San Francisco and working at her own not her own company, but for a company similar to what her father built. And then during her childhood, her dad develops Alzheimer's, and he starts going downhill, and this big reveal, her dad might not be who he says he is. It wasn't enough for me. I didn't really care about these characters. When she went to school for the first time, you could just feel the social awkwardness and the social neglect that she experienced. I say social neglect because she wasn't around kids her own age, but she was socialized with her dad's colleagues and her neighbors' kids sometimes when they would pass. But yeah, she didn't play. She didn't know what playing was. I gave this 2 stars. It's for some people, but I'm just not a literary fiction. I don't care about those types of books enough. I don't care about reading the lives of people who get this big change in their lives, because it happens to everyone. I don't care. So, yeah, not my favorite. I'm going to go in order the way the books are stacked. It's not my reading order, but I finally read American Sniper by Chris Kyle. Now I can watch the movie. I just need to make time to watch said movie. But this is about Chris Kyle's time from his childhood to becoming the U.S.'s best sniper. And it also has a excerpt or a chunk from his wife meeting Bradley Cooper and Clint Eastwood when they were filming the movie. And I also learned that Chris Kyle knew there was going to be a movie made about him, and he met with the movie people before he was murdered. And they had to switch the whole movie around to incorporate his murder and change the ending. But reading the first chapter, the way he was writing and was like how he was speaking Texas. He speaks like a redneck, like you fucking Yankees and motherfucker, and cussing up a damn storm, which I can relate to. I cuss all the time, but he talks about his first sniper kill, and to be honest, it made me a little put off, and I was not going to finish this after the first chapter. But I pushed on, and it was very informative. He talks about his time during BUDS, his SEAL training. If somebody tells you they're a SEAL, they're not actually a SEAL because they don't advertise that. Talks about the many bar fights he was in, how he met his wife in San Diego at a bar, and how he put God, country, family when his wife thought it should be God, family, country. He put this country before his family. He always wanted to be deployed. Yeah, that kind of pushed me off also. But it talks about all of his deployments and missions and how he was killing so many insurgents and taking so heavy fire, and how when they would when he was being a sniper, he would switch with another sniper and they wouldn't get any kills, and then when he would switch back onto the gun, he would find like an insurgent would pop up and he'd get them in like 5 seconds after getting on the gun, and how he was like not exactly liked because of it. So he talks about how his number is always going up and down, up and down. He don't have an official number. He has more kills than is actually confirmed because he needs to have a witness see him shoot the person, and then he's got to make a report because he could get sued or get arrested for murder if he doesn't do it, if he's not witnessed. If he just pops a cap in an insurgent's ass for no reason, then he can get get charged for murder and taken to the brig and court-martialed and all that, and dishonored, just discharged. So all that, it's really eye-opening. It was a little tough to bear sometimes, but overall I enjoyed it. I'm ready to see the movie now. I may watch it today. The next book is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. Look at this beautiful cover. I finally read this and I absolutely loved it. Yeah, games, murder, and like a whodunit. Yeah. The parental abuse in this is not easy to swallow. But I do like the map. I referenced this many times while reading, and yeah, I loved all the letters at the beginning, like Dear Master Legend, Dear Master Legend, Dear Scarlet Dragna. Yeah, and I also love Julian. Julian is my favorite. He was the best character, or the best actor, should I say? I love books that center around games, and I kind of figured out what was going to happen at some point, because this book was really hyped on BookTube, and I've seen a bunch of spoilers, but I tend to forget spoilers. I can look right at you and while you're speaking to me, and I will not hear a thing you say. That's my specialty. But yes, I will be reading Legendary this month, and this is about two sisters. One sister, Scarlet, she was always writing to this carnival master called Legend, and asking him can they be invited to his caraval because they want to see or participate in the game. And then Scarlet gets arranged to be married off, and she gets invited with her sister. And so her sister is messing around with this sailor named Julian, and they go to Caraval when Scarlet's sister Donatella, I think that's her name. If you don't know what this book's about, it's been around a while, then I suggest you read it. And look at the ticket. Admit one. Also, the day and night situation, I was a little confused about that, but it was the perfect amount of spook. And yeah, 5 out of 5. This is Everything by Nicola Yoon. I don't know what to say about this book. I liked it, but I hated it at the same time. I liked it because she is just a teenager who wants to be free and be able to do what other kids do. And the relationship between Maddie and Ollie is just so cute and fluffy. But I hated it because the mom. I fucking hate the mom. I wouldn't do that. It reminds me of The Act, the movie on Hulu about Gypsy Rose. I forget her name, Gypsy Rose, and her mom. And yeah, if I probably just spoiled the whole book by saying that. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't Google it. But if you do know what I'm talking about and you haven't read this book, that's basically what it is. Yeah, it's about this girl named Maddie. She has a boy in a bubble syndrome. She cannot go outside or she will die. She cannot have any contamination. She cannot have any germs. She has to live in a perfect little white sterilized house. She has online tutors who help her learn. Her books have to come sealed up tight, and whenever she has a visitor, they have to go through a whole decontamination process. But yeah, then one day she meets Ollie, the boy who moves in next door with his abusive fucking father. I like The Sun Is Also a Star better because it was more realistic with the deportation, but this is just... Read a graphic novel, The Tea Dragon Society by Katie O'Neill, and it's about these two little creature girls. I don't know what they are. They become tea makers, and it's about little tiny tea dragons, and it's just so freaking cute. I want my own tea dragon. If I had a tea dragon, I would have the chamomile tea dragon and the peppermint tea dragon. They're so cute. Look at them. Okay. Even though I don't like peppermint, it makes me sick. Hello, Luna. But it's told in season format, like, oh, look at the chamomile lady, cute. Oh, okay. But yeah, it's like chapter 1, spring, summer. It's from the point of view of this girl who is being brought up to become like a blacksmith or iron forger, and she doesn't really know if she wants to do that. She doesn't know if she wants to keep up the family business type thing or the skills. And then one day she comes across this girl, Minette, who has like a memory loss type thing. She's fine. My cat is fine. You're not going outside. It is too hot and you'll start panning. But yeah, they meet at the tea house one day. Greta, the iron forger, she starts learning how to brew tea with the help of the tea dragons. And her and Minette become friends. And she gets a ginseng tea dragon. And this ginseng tea dragon is just the freaking cutest. I don't know which one I want. I want all of them. But this is like so cute. And I need the second one. This is the Owlcrate exclusive edition. And it's the winner of the 2018 Eisner Award for Best Publication for Kids. It comes with a little tea dragon handbook at the back, and it's just very informative. And now I really want a tea dragon. Dun, 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 dun. This was a blog tour spot this month, and now my kids are humming the Star Wars theme song. They're going to be asking me later, can we watch it? Can we watch Star Wars? Maybe. I don't know. Possibly. This is Star Wars Galaxies Edge, A Crash of Fate by Zoraida Cordova. This was the first Zoraida Cordova book I read, and I kind of like her writing style. And it reminded me of, the story reminded me of Leia and Han. Very similar, but it seems like a gender or a swap. Like, this is about a girl named Izzy and a guy named Jules. And Izzy is a pilot, and she's trying to figure out what she wants to do with her life. She has just been abandoned by her crew, and she gets chosen as to become this transporter for a package back on her home planet, where she was taken, or where her parents just decided to leave one night with her. Her mom and dad are dead, and so she goes back to this home planet, and she runs into the boy that she used to play with all the time, and he is like stuck in a roller coaster. He wants to get his own ship. He wants to leave his planet and travel to the rest of the galaxy, but he can't because his sister doesn't want him to do that. His sister wants him to be safe, and plus his sister is about to have a baby. And so he's one of the runners for this guy who is getting this package from Izzy. And yeah, hijinks ensue. Stormtroopers. I think this was taking place before I think it was in around the same time as Rogue One, because it talks about stormtroopers starting to take over and infiltrate. Oh, hello, handsome boy. President Snow, my cat's on his back, so. Snow! Hi, Blubs! And so, the ending was very good. It was intense, and it made me a little sad, but I also want to see this in movie format or show format. Hey, Disney Plus, get it together. The last book that I read in August, well, not the last book I read, but the last book I'm going to be showing you today is The Lost Girl by Anne Ursu. Me and the girls started reading this back in June for summer school, and we finished it the first week of school, and I gotta say, it was a little confusing when I took so long to read it, but it's about these twins. What are their names? Iris and Lark, and they have both been separated for different classes this school year, and they are not happy about it. I think Iris is the one who who's trying to get Lark to come into her classroom, and Lark is not having a good time. She is just getting sick and being embarrassed, and she's going into her head a lot. And they have this dollhouse that they make different types of rooms in, like a disco room and an attic and a closet, and it's just I liked the dollhouse aspect. And there's also a store called Treasure Hunters in this town, where this creepy guy has a sign out that says, "We are here. Where are you? Alice, where are you?" And it does not change after that. And so Lark, or Iris, goes into the store one day and starts looking around and becomes friends with the owner. And she asks about Alice, and he's like, "How do you know about Alice?" And she says, "The sign." And he was like, "That sign is not for you. That's on my property. Why are you looking at my stuff when the sidewalk is public property?" And Lark is friendly with a bunch of ravens, or crows, yeah, murder crows. It's just about them growing and learning how to be their own person, and they learn about the Lost Girl, and the ending was awesome. I did not see it coming, but yeah, a little middle grade book had me shooketh. But yeah, I highly recommend. The girls want a sequel. I kind of want a sequel too. That is it for my August wrap up. I hope it's not too long. But if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe, comment down below. Have you read any of these books? If you had a tea dragon, which one would you have? And I will see you in my next video. Bye.